Oh, making a mess already. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Nakya, and today we're being a bit we're doing our job, we're doing our work, but we're going to be a bit petty. So what's been going on for the past week, I don't know if I've discussed this with you guys on a prior video or not, but we're being a bit petty, but we're also doing our job. So I've been trying to, I keep telling you guys that for us, we use a lot of metrics that we hold our employees accountable to, like as far as performance goes and targets and things that they need to meet. But various teams have their own version of a metric, right? Which is fine. It can be different, but here's the thing. If for me, at least, like I know that like when you're developing your code and dashboards, most people put a definitions page, which is just showing how the metrics are being calculated, right? And if you say your metric is calculated the same way my metric is calculated, then we should have the same results. However, what's happening is that people are saying they are using this calculation and we are saying we're using that calculation, but our numbers are different. And it doesn't have to do with like the data being updated like day -1 or day -2. That's not the reason. It's because in my belief, this is alleged, this isn't proven, no one's admitted to anything, that they are calculating it differently. That's my understanding. Their metric is, or that's what I believe, that this other team is calculating their metric differently than what they have in their definitions, right? So people are, employees are emailing us because again, work in sales performance management. So if there's a difference, like you're saying this metric has this result here and we're showing this metric has a result that's different, people are going to ask like, why are they different? And here's the thing, I can't explain why their numbers are different than ours because I don't understand how their metrics are calculated. Reached out to try and find that out, got nowhere with it. Reached out to the team that manages like ThoughtSpot, like inquiries. They gave me the name of the person that owns this specific dashboard within ThoughtSpot. I reached out to him. He's like, I can't share my code. He wouldn't explain the logic, nothing. So I'm at the point where you aren't sharing your logic. We've reached out to the project manager because he's like, reach out to the project manager because, and I get it, like some project managers, they don't want you to have access to their code and all the behind the scenes types of things. Cause I've done that before where I've have a project that I've done for a specific team and people are like, hey, can you change this? And it's like, no, I can't just change it. Another team requested this dashboard and metric calculations and things are done the way they've asked. So if you want it changed, you need to go through them, right? But I would explain like we're doing it X, Y, and Z way, but if you want any changes or anything, you need to go through them. So totally get it. But it seems like this project manager doesn't even know how this metric is being calculated. Like, so we're getting nowhere. So I'm at the point, and I started doing this yesterday. I started developing code to try and back into how they're getting these results because at this point, I don't know. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to continue working on this code to try and figure out how they're calculating this metric so that we have an understanding of the differences because they're not explaining it to us. They're not sharing their code. My director was like, who owns the code for this? And I gave him the name. He's like, I'm going to get it. Still waiting. No one's gotten it yet to me. So we'll see. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to try and back into the metrics. So I'll talk you guys through that some. So what I started doing yesterday is I went to their dashboard in ThoughtSpot and I pulled results for a couple of employees. So what I'm trying to do is, because I know the one thing I do know and I was able to verify is the table that they're using is the same table that we're using, right? In our data warehouse. I was able to get at least that. So what I'm doing is pulling a few employees' results from their dashboard and trying to use the table to see what will give me that calculation of result that they're getting on their dashboard. So that's where we're at. I think I got one of the metrics. I think I got one of the metric calculations down yesterday. I need to log back in. I need to reconnect. Oh, hold on. I never logged in. Okay, 1 minute. I need to sign into. I don't think I ever did because I was in the office yesterday and I'm working from home today for a half day. So I don't think I ever logged on. All right, so before I jump into I got all logged in, but before I jump into this code again, I need to pull some reports. So let me get that done really quickly. It shouldn't take that long. Let's join this call. Still feel like my glasses are dirty. Are my headphones even connected? Good morning, y'all. Huh? Look, I haven't had enough coffee to answer that question. No. But if they're mixed, like if 50% of the that they sold were the nude, that's where they got the. And what dashboard? I don't know that, no, I think it's individual months. So no, it's okay. Because mentioned to us about, remember we did that Q1 view previously for, she mentioned that we may need to refresh that. So I started pulling in some of the Q2 data yesterday, so we can refresh those slides and provide year to date. So that's fine. Okay, what is the new that they're launching? Is it just thinking if we did something similar. I just wanted to bring that up as a risk concern because we did get emails about it and it was an issue and something we can't necessarily research or tell them like, hey, yeah, but that's not showing up in ThoughtSpot for whatever reason. Like our BI teams are having some issues with that, so can't share anything right now. They're working on redoing the logic pretty much is what it sums up to be. So they didn't want to share anything because they're working on, so I don't know where we're going to get it from EDW. So just wanted to give y'all an update on the latest I knew about that. It doesn't look like we'll be able to. I don't know if that's a go, no go. Like, well, I mean, initially my concern is that we would have to use ThoughtSpot as the data source. We know we've had questions. Yeah, so like, I'm just saying like, those are things that we need to know. But I'm just trying to clarify that we're saying the same thing, you know, one band, one sound, and I'm trying to make sure because it sounds like and that's what I'm saying. I'm not okay with that. And I think we're aligned on the same page, but I don't know if it doesn't seem like that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, what? What? Hold on, what? She needs to join us on a call. I'm sorry. Look. No. Come in EDW and try to figure out this code as to how. I'm still trying to figure out how they got to these numbers because like I test out my theory for one thing and then when I validate it with another employee it's not matching, so I'm like, okay, that code obviously isn't right. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but that's gonna be on pause until I can get this year-to-date performance results for. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, I'm gonna just compile this. I asked him if Excel is fine. Only if you do all this report. And she said, no, I will report any red flag, ma'am. That might be like the launch date, but I don't know. You saw like the COA numbers that. 2 hours later. Are we okay? Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. All right, so today, oh gosh, hold on. Okay, so I am going through pulling some data for our director. We were on a call this morning and someone from our VP in sales, they need some data, or one of his executive assistants needs some data to provide to him. So my director asked me to pull it. So that's what I'm in the process of doing, getting some year-to-date results for this specific sales initiative. And we just got word of a new product launch that we need to do a sales initiative for as well. So we have to work on that as a team. Our director messaged us last night about it, but we didn't get all details, so we went over it today. Where's my analytics? What's today? 0626. So I'm gonna work on getting this data pulled. so I have my January through June month to date data. I'm gonna clean this data up a bit using, since this is just an Excel file, I'm just going to, I'll just do some data cleaning in Power Query, and then I can just pivot out the results. And so I need to get rid of, this is this. I need to, okay, so this is this. Okay, so I'm going to pivot, transform, pivot this column by this. And you can do a pivot, like if you're familiar with Power Query, you can just pivot your data out. Okay, so I need to pivot this out, and let me go back to what they asked for. So they wanted to get participation broken down by month. Okay, so then I'm gonna put the month, ungroup the months, and show me home. This is currency, and then he wanted, let me do this month. Okay, so I need to check and see how we're, double check. I can't recall off the top of my head right now. So I need to look at this data details to make sure my calculations are correct, because the last thing you want is wrong data, especially when it's going to an executive. I think we use ThoughtSpot, yeah, that's what I'm double checking to confirm. We would still be using ThoughtSpot for this since we were looking at specific, like we did last time. So right, which is why we had to use ThoughtSpot, because we had specific, like that they had 50% sales or more in that, and it would qualify them for like a, I don't know if we're doing something similar, but if we do, I would think we would probably still need to use ThoughtSpot. It does, but I'll double check, because I thought like when we were getting some of the inquiries, we were like, but I'll double check to make sure. Okay, you guys, so a quick update. It's been busy, back-to-back conversations and calls. I don't even remember what I last checked in with you guys about, and excuse my lunch if you can see it. I'm trying to eat in between calls and on calls where I don't have to speak, and we have another call coming up in about 5 minutes. But I got the data for my director and the person he told to reach out to me to give them data, some sales data, year-to-date view, in specific breakouts that he wanted. So I cleaned that data, got it formatted, sent that. I asked if it was okay to send it in Excel. He responded saying yes, that's fine. So I got that to him, and he responded saying this is great, so we're good there, I hope. But there's a lot of pivot tables, so like he can just re-pivot the data if he needs to, because all the data's there that we have. Like, you have all the data I have, so if you need specifics, it's there. Since then, we've been working on this Q3 initiative that it's the end of June. Q3 is next week, and we got this initiative today, this new sales initiative, because there's a new product launching in Q3, like at the very beginning, so first week I believe, and they want to get employees to sell this new product. So we're working on sales initiatives. For me specifically, for this sales initiative and new product launch, I am working on validating data sources, making sure we have the data source, and getting the requirements together for reporting, what the reporting will look like, what we're going to include, what we're not going to include in a reporting, where we will source the data from. So validating data sources, making sure we're clear, like what we're proposing aligns with what the business want, and then gathering the requirements so that everything's clear, not only just to us, but also like that we're clear and transparent to the employees. Like, this is how you're getting credit for selling this new product. This is how it's going to work. This is when we're going to do reporting. This is when reporting is going to be final. This is the data source that we're using, because the things that we've been dealing with in the month of June related to data is that people are comparing, like, what is just a comparison game where they're comparing reporting from multiple sources because the data is different, aka this new metric. So yeah, look, I don't know what to tell the people, but that's just been an issue and a problem we've been dealing with. I don't know if we're going to have a solution for it. Now, there is a conversation going on to even change the way this new metric is calculated again. Like, this will be probably the 4th time we've changed it in a year, over a little over a year's time. Like, when I tell y'all I'm over it, like, I'm over this new metric. I think it's trash. Get rid of it. But I believe there were 4 different proposals on how to calculate the new metric. And there's one that I think we should go with, but that's kind of like the original way the metric was done, is just pretty much going back to one of the prior calculations, which I think was the best way to calculate it, even though it was confusing. Of the options, that is probably the best option, but who knows what leadership is going to go with, because it's not my choice at the end of the day. I don't have a vote or a say so. So it is what it is. But let me get on we have an all hands call with our senior director. So that's going to probably be the end of it for today. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow.